Alright. We are here with the grand finals, the most recent Premier tournament, the Team Liquid Star League. And of course, the beast, the behemoth, the monster, the man who took a month and a half off StarCraft. Very mature choice. Missed Valencia. A decision most players wouldn't even think of doing. And has come back and apparently he is bloody on a roll. It's, of course, NC Sports SERRAL. Renewed, invigorated, and on top of his A game. Other players, I think, struggling with burnout maybe a little bit at the moment. There's so many tournaments going on. There's so many tournaments. And it's staggering. When you're playing tournaments all the time, there's not as much practice in between. But this man, he's also another player who is so consistent at his peak because he doesn't grind as many online tournaments. He saves up all of his energy for GSL, for TSL, for the big Premier, events like Valencia, Katowice, these big events. So MARU in the top side of the map, of course, representing Onside Gaming, right? I believe MARU is on Onside these days. Unfortunately, he doesn't have that clan tag on this server, but good to see. Now, he's opening up with a pretty standard barracks gas. No SCV scout just yet. We'll see. Unless he rallies this SCV down to build the command center, I think MARU is not going to scout until he builds the Reaper. And why would you do this? Well, there's a very good reason. You're playing SERRAL. Oh, he's not even going to build a Reaper as well. Very greedy opening. So why would you do this? Well, you're playing SERRAL. SERRAL's never going to one-base Ravager you. He's very rarely going to do these all-ins. Now, the last time I pointed that out, in game 5 of a series, SERRAL did a dirty all-in. And I got a nice, easy win, right? So SERRAL, he's gotten better at bucking the trend. He will mix in the all-in occasionally. I do remember back when Beyond was at his peak, and I tell the story a bit, but I was telling SERRAL, like, hey man, do one-base Ravager. It's a free kill versus players who play like this sort of build order. If they don't scout, if you can say on this map, my opponent's not going to scout, he's just going to go Marine, Factory, Reactor. If you do one-base Ravager, it is the freest win of free wins, right? It's just about how predictable is your opponent. Now, MARU is pretty unpredictable. He's not like Beyond at that stage was doing it every game. But I think MARU mixes it up enough that it's kind of hard to guess what he's going to be doing. Now, SERRAL did build 4 Zerglings, and you could argue that if SERRAL had just sent the Overlord straight, he would have seen there was no Reaper leaving, and he could have skipped on some of these Zerglings and built them reactively, maybe even potentially, right? I know some very advanced Zergs, they wait to see the Reaper before building more than 2 Zerglings, which is really cute. Ling speed does start up, and it's going to go for that creep tumor on the natural. So Ling speed before 3rd queen. Now that's pretty good way of doing it. A lot of players get very greedy with how long they delay that. Oh, look at that. The Marine went to the back to make sure the Overlord wasn't flying into the backside of the base. A lot of people try to cross over with this Overlord. They try to go up here, and if they can get up there, then they can kind of scout the fusion core or the armory going down, all that sort of stuff. MARU, to describe his strategies in this matchup recently, I like to use Raynor's description going into his matchup Valencia. He said, MARU's going to do some absolutely weird nonsense opening that's like just totally strange. And then he's just going to turtle up and play Mega Macro and just try and like survive to end game. And he's like, that's what MARU does every game. It's some wildly different, weird opening every single time. And then he just, if he ever falls behind, he just turtles up. But keep in mind, MARU is very capable of, if he's got momentum, if he's had a good start, he will try to kill his opponent. Now, he's supply blocked on 46. Is that a bad supply block? No, this is a perfect supply block because notice it's not cutting into any unit production. The moment his medevac finished and those SCVs finished, the depot finished. That is like literally pinpoint to the second precision with a build order. Beautiful play by MARU. There is actual mistakes people make with their build, and that is not one of them. Roach Warren is here. Ooh, 39 drones, lots of Overlords on the way as well. He's going to go for a big Roach push. So SERRAL's going to go Roach Zergling aggression. He's only got 4 queens. Oh, this is a very, very big attack that SERRAL's going to go for. He's going for a Raven behind this. Oh, this is okay, so MARU's playing a greedy opening in the follow-up. That's not a Banshee, and that means he's going to be dead if he doesn't see these Roaches popping. He needs to cancel the Raven and make a Banshee right now. Oh, Widowmine. Oh, great, Widowmine target fire. Gets 3 drones there. Okay, 4 drones in total have gone down. The Marines focused another one. Very good start. But did he notice the Roaches coming out? I don't think he did. He needs to see these Roaches coming. MARU is in trouble right now. He's just building barracks. He's not building a bunker. He's got 4 depots exposed, and this is one of the smallest maps in the pool. He still hasn't seen the Roaches. Has he? No, he has. Okay, he's spotted them. He's pulling back up. Raise those walls. Raise the depots. Cancel them. Back to the high ground. His Banshee's only now starting. Oh, this map is so good for Ravagerling aggression because they get in there so damn fast. MARU did not see the Rotron. He saw the second gas geyser, which maybe was a tell, but does. I mean, it was at a time where it very well could have just been down for normal reasons. So MARU here, he's in a very tough position. He's got a good Marine count. He's got 9 Marines, so he can defend the high ground. SERRAL's all in. SERRAL is actually super all in. He's massing Zerglings behind this. He's got 40 Zerglings out already. The Roaches and the Ravagers coming on in, trying to use the Bile to take down the depots. The Roaches and the Ravagers are happy to just fight. He's not focusing the depot. He's actually just trying to fight across the wall in and using the Bile to zone back MARU. Oh, he's going to get the Stim! Stim goes down. That's big. The Banshee's out, though. The Banshee puts a timer on all this. SCVs need to get pulled. He can't lose his Marines and Hellions. He needs to fight with his SCVs. All the Biles forcing him back. Very nice play by SERRAL. The SCVs are pulled, but maybe a little bit late. I really think he needed to get those SCVs in front of those Marines. The Biles spreading across, though. This is absolutely catastrophic damage. The Lings are still flooding in right now. The Lings are finding the mineral line. 1 auto turret and 1 Banshee. I don't think that's enough to defend this. The SCVs, it's just 16 SCVs left. Nothing else on the ground. And that auto turret does get a fair bit of damage done, but the Bile, oh my god. And that's it. That's game. That's game. He's lost everything. He's got a Banshee, a tank, a Raven, a few SCVs, but man, the base is burning. How can you sleep while the SCVs are getting ravaged, mate? The beds are burning, and that is a brutal timing there for SERRAL. I said SERRAL's a bit predictable defensive. You know, he does very normal builds. You can play a bit greedy. Well, MARU not only played greedy in the start, but then he didn't keep vision on the center of the map, on the map where it is so dangerous because the room to cross that map is so short. This is Cosmic Sapphire. MARU has enough time to get a bunker up. MARU has enough time to like get his Banshee out and that sort of stuff. But here on Moondance, it's so dangerous. And SERRAL is very clever at picking builds for the strength of the map, for taking advantage of his opponents. And he's not letting MARU get in his comfort zone. This, I think, speaks to the fact that MARU goes into his Grand Finals TVZs thinking of himself as the aggressor. And we saw Dark use that to his advantage in the Valencia Finals, right? Dark killed him with mass double upgraded Zerglings 2 games in a row. The first 2 games to start that series. And MARU fought back and made it a very close series. But giving up those first 2 games in such easy one-sided fashion meant it was pretty much impossible. Now he's going to try and recover with a 3rd command center, a focus on SCV production, and 2 Banshees going for light harassment. But the Banshees just can't get anything done. He's got an Overseer. He's only got 1 Queen up here, which is obviously a little dangerous. He's only got 4 Queens in total, actually. So the Banshees get a bit of damage, but he's going to lose 1 for it. SERRAL's economy is only at 40 workers, but he's already got wave 2 going in. That's why he's only at 40 workers. So the Banshee's going to come back, see a Ravager morphing, and he's going to go, oh no. He doesn't even have a wall off. The Overseer says, hello, Mr. Tank. I can spot you from the low ground. You're going to take a Ravager Bile. So he realizes that. He tries to wall off, but he doesn't have time to wall off both sides. Oh no, MARU getting overrun in game 1, and SERRAL there just very good hiding of his build. A crisp all-in timing. He had a lot of creep. He had the front hatchery. He made it look like a normal build order, but only on 4 Queens and hitting a crisp Ravagerling to get an easy game 1 victory. A rough start for MARU, who, of course, having lost an earlier series in this tournament, did start down 0-1. I should have mentioned that at the start of the previous game. MARU is now down 0-2 in this best of 7, so first to 4 wins. His opponent, SERRAL, in the top left of the map, looking good. MARU's going to go towards a proxy barracks. He loves his proxy barracks. Now, something I've criticized Clem for is the fact that he predictably never proxy barrackses. And I think I've talked about how Clem is kind of, I think, a bit faster than MARU and a bit better when he's switched on. But MARU is just better at defending than Clem. Like, much better at swapping to the defensive game. Clem's a faster attacker with better multitasking and micro. But MARU is much more organized and calm on the defense. But MARU also mixes in a lot more cheeky aggression and much more committed aggression. And because of that, I think MARU is a more complex problem to solve for the Zerg players. But SERRAL, look at this. Look at this. Both of his overlords are looking for the barracks right now. I don't know if he finds it. I don't know if he finds it, though. That's unfortunate for him. He's going hatch first, into gas, into pool. Very standard opening. I always hear, like, Tastosis, or Tasteless especially, like, oh no, he's going gas pool. And obviously that is the worst case scenario, but this is the standard Zerg opening. SERRAL has defended many proxy barracks off this opening. It's pretty rare you see pool first, especially on a big map like this. Which is part of why the double barracks can be fantastic. Now, The thing is, this Overlord will see the Marines and SCVs coming in, and that's when he's going to know what's up. So behind this, there's a gas. He'll go for a factory behind it. This is the classic MARU, 15 racks, 15 gas. 15, double barracks on 15, and then 17 gas behind it is normally what this is. Overlord sees it coming in. SERRAL needs to get that Overlord to the pillar, but the barracks could lift off to kill that. There's no other pillars nearby, I guess. He could have gone to that one, would have been much safer. He's going to go that way. The drone's being pulled. He pulls a lot of drones, does SERRAL. 15 drones, and he control groups them as his army. Oh, he gets that drone out of there. Very nicely done, but this means there's no spine crawlers building. This is so much mining time he's lost. I think SERRAL might have pulled too many workers, guys. I think he might have pulled too many workers. He's going to wait for the Zerglings now. At least he delays the bunker. Obviously, he's going to try and surround the Marine. Cannot see that Overlord on the pillar. MARU here, 3 Marines and an SCV. I thought he might go left there, but he's actually going to go right. That gives SERRAL a juicy surround, but oh, 2 of his Marines are wriggling out of there. Focus firing on the drones quite effectively. The Marines trying to group up. He's trying to get them together so he can start a step all in one direction, but the drones doing pretty well. They are not boy band fans. 6 drones, 3 Zerglings. For 4 Marines and an SCV, it's an acceptable hold, but it does depend on the fact that MARU still has position here. Now, he should really be going for that Overlord. Yeah, I'm like, come on, man. You know that Overlord's there. So he gets an Overlord on top of this. SERRAL will sneak out some Zerglings, but by that time, actually, he might be able to kill this SCV because there's no Marines heading home. This Overlord trying to come out here, but nah, it should be an easy snipe, I think. Oh, he gets it. Well done, well done. The thing is, he's building a reactor as MARU, which means this command center is not defended. These Zerglings could do quite a little bit here. Queens are pulling back. Those Queens going off creep was kind of dangerous, to be fair. Zerglings go in, and that is a beautiful snipe. That's got to piss MARU off. Because what can he do? His Marines are way too far out of the map. This is a big misstep for MARU. If he built a single Hellion, this was the right move. But as it was, he played this a little bit greedy. He does have a barrack scouting, but now his command center being very delayed. He needs to start... Okay, he's got a depot building. Needs to repair that depot as well. And his Marines finally coming home. There is another Overlord off to the left of his natural as well. Pulls this SCV at the 11th hour. Barely will save that depot. And the Marines will come back and shut that down. But he's got double Hellion production and a medevac. Now, one thing I've criticized players for with this proxy barracks is that going for 4 Hellions and a medevac drop is what every single Terran player ever does with this. And I really feel like surprise is kind of important in strategy games. And MARU's been doing it the same way since 2018, when he did this maybe, let's say about 30% of his Terran versus Zerg games were at this exact build order. This is his 4th year running, doing the exact same build order every single time. And every other Terran copies it. So there's got to be something to it. As much as I'm like, oh, come on, someone should have a curveball follow-up they do once in a while. There's got to be something to be said for just the flexibility of Hellions and a medevac, not to mention these Marines being annoying as well. Got 3 Hellions moving across, so his extra Hellions were a little late, so he's just going to go for the 3 Hellion drop. Still enough to one-shot drones and Zerglings. 5 Overlords building. Oh, SERRAL's going for a Ravager Ling again. But this map is nowhere near as good for it. Ooh. And he's going Raven again. MARU is going Hellion Raven again. This is not a good opening against this. So I think MARU said, okay, you used up your Ravager Ling, punishing the fact that I'm going for Raven. I'm going to do it again because there's no way you would do the same build a second time in a row. And yet SERRAL goes for it a second time in a row. MARU comes in. Great Spore Crawler block. Still gets 2 drones across the gap, though. Oh, SERRAL clumping. SERRAL clumping. Oh, SERRAL, careful, mate. Careful. Oh, MARU doesn't pick up his Hellions. He does kill 11 drones in total this game. But remember, like 5 or 6 of those actually went down earlier. Oh, he's being very annoying with his drop micro, but he's got to pull back now. Does he realize that this is an all-in? He must have noticed those roaches popping. Indeed, he does. He builds a bunker at the front. I actually think he should go bunker at the high ground. He's going to go bunker here. Okay, so he's double bunkering. The medevac's going to boost back. He sees no drones on the 3rd. He's going to see with the medevac as well, the roaches and the lings flooding underneath him. Notice he's going to catch a glimpse of that in just a second. And Yep. He sees the lings. He sees the roaches. He's like confirming that it's coming. The Banshee is almost out. He did cancel the Raven. He's trying to wall off with another depot. He's going to have to pull a lot of SCVs to repair. MARU, you're going to need those repairing SCVs. That bunker's going to go down quick, mate. A very committed push. SERRAL on only 27 drones after losing those workers. He's down 10 workers. SERRAL with a giant Ling Ravager all in. He's pulling a lot of his Lings back because he doesn't want them to die to the Hellions. He's trying to break through with the Roach Ravager and then let the Lings clean everything up. MARU has to keep these Hellions alive. Keep your eyes on those guys. Banshee Banshee starting to work on the Ravagers. One of them goes down. Good mass repair on the bunker. The Hellions are shooting the Ravagers, though. Those Hellions need to get on the Zerglings. The Zerglings get a wraparound. Huge wraparound for SERRAL. But the bunker is standing strong at the front. The bunker and the Banshee are killing the Ravagers. The tank goes down on the ramp, as do a lot of the Hellions. Lings are inside the main base, but the bunker stands strong. The mass repair, those 4 Marines in that bunker did its work, and that's the power of keeping up Marine production in the early game as a Terran player. It makes you so much more solid. The Lings take out a lot of these Marines, a lot of these units, but remember, this was not some small, I'll see if I can trade armies. This was an all-in attack. Now, you might look at the workers and say, no, surely it's not. SERRAL's up in workers. Guys, there's no lair. There's no Evo chambers. He's just thinking about starting them and realizing he doesn't even have the money to afford it. SERRAL is in the dumps. He's only got 3 queens. Compare that to the infrastructure situation for MARU. 3rd command center finished. 3 barracks up with add-ons producing. Tank, Raven producing. Banshee on the map for map control. Medevac and Marines with stim out. I mean, basically, SERRAL has to deal with such a tech disadvantage. And it's like, oh, his economy looks acceptable. But you've got to realize he's got to kill a lot of these drones to build gases, to build Evo chambers, to build extra structures. So he's not going to be able to just go to 70 workers and be like, ooh, I've got double your worker count, because he's constantly killing his own workers to build up. SERRAL is so far behind in the infrastructure that MARU is going to end up with probably a 30 supply lead in the mid game, maybe a 40 supply lead even, just with the way things are going. Lair and Baneling Nest on the way, so SERRAL does want to play Ling Bane. He doesn't want to play Roaches. Marine drop in the north, and a Raven coming down the left side to drop some of those auto turrets could be effective as well. 1-1 upgrades are on the way. The classic 1 engineering bay in the wall, 1 in the natural at the back. Banshee does get pushed out of the main. He's killed a total of 13 workers this game. 6 in the start, 7 in the follow-up. And now the Marine drop on the right side. Raven on the left side, which is almost impossible to see on this mini-map. Don't know why they let MARU play purple in this series, but yeah. Purple Terran units on creep. Really easy to spot, guys. Whew. Tournament admins! No, we love you, Oli Moly. You do a great job. But anyways, auto turret does go down. Gets a bit of mining time. We've got the 3rd command center is blocked from landing. Any little delay like that could be nice. SERRAL's trying to go 1-1 Baneling speed. When you're this far behind, you can't really afford all the normal things. So notice SERRAL's only on 1, 2, 3 gas geysers. So SERRAL's going to try and play basically pure Zergling, Baneling, minerals. Really heavy on the minerals. And he'll be happy to play probably on a similar work account to the Terran player for most of the game. Interestingly, MARU's not building SCVs right now, though. So that's an odd choice for MARU. I think it's just a slight lapse in his production, though, because he's going to have a very big push coming out. Raven auto turret comes in one more time. Don't know where the Raven is, just hiding in that back corner. It's up to 7 kills now. But having a 4th mineral line saturated, if he can get a few more hatcheries, SERRAL will be good. Right now, though, SERRAL, I don't know how much experience he has with the low gas style. You need a crazy amount of hatcheries to make this work. So he needs to be on at least 6, probably 7 hatcheries. Even with perfect injects, 4 hatcheries, he will not be able to spend his money. Doesn't matter how good you are. It's physically impossible unless he makes too many Banelings, which of course he does not have the gas for. So definitely want to see a macro hatch and a 5th base out of SERRAL. SERRAL's going to go for the gold base. He sees the push moving out now. He's got a lot of Lings and Banes ready for a run by. Can he hold the attack back? His creep spread is not that fantastic either. MARU, 36 Marines, 4 tanks, a Banshee and a Raven. Once again, dropping another auto turret. Another 2 drones go down in the main. Ling Bane getting ready for the backstab. Good move for SERRAL. Absolutely the sort of move that he needs in this game. If he can get the Banelings on the worker line, that would be big. He's got to micro the Banelings into the worker line, though. And, oh, he's going to actually try and crash the main base. Ling's getting into all the mineral lines. And I think he might need to give this hatchery up, though. The Baneling Nest exposed at the front. He's going to go for it. Oh, MARU deep on creep. Did MARU mess up? No, the Marine spread's too good. There's another tank down at the bottom as well. He gets rid of a lot of these tanks, does SERRAL, but there's still 2 tanks, a pack of Marines. I don't think he has enough Banelings. Great micro by SERRAL. He's got MARU down to 30 SCVs. Dude, if SERRAL brings this game back, this is going to be an absolutely stunning masterclass, but he should already be rebuilding his Baneling Nest and preparing to give this base up. Fighting here is not a good idea. SERRAL's going to go for it. SERRAL always likes to lock horns with his opponent and beat them in the front-on struggle, but he taps out there. And that there is the weakness of SERRAL in this matchup. MARU fights back, and absolutely, from that early game, MARU should have won. But imagine... Let's rewind really quickly, 10 seconds. If SERRAL just pulls the drones, rebuilds the Baneling Nest, sends the drones to the bottom left, MARU's on 30 SCVs right now versus 66. And then you're mining a gold base. Is it hard to defend? Yes, but The problem the Terran has is their immobility, especially with the tank style. And if you just keep doing Ling run bys, this third is wide open. Maru's in an absolutely messy position. His 2-2's not started. Your 2-2's on the way. If SERRAL was more willing to give up ground here and pull the drones to the bottom left, pull the drones to this base, and then re-expand the moment Maru repositions while sending most of his army to go across, that absolutely could have got him back in this game. You got double the worker count, you got a massive income advantage, you've still got your queens alive. He actually could have done this from here. So I think SERRAL, he was in a bad spot from early on, and I think he kind of just felt like, oh, it's pretty much impossible to win from here. But he actually put himself in a winning position and then just failed to convert from that. I'm not saying, we're not winning, but a 50-50 position, maybe 40-60. He was at about 10-90 before, 10% chance of winning. He put himself up close to even odds at this point if he gives up this base. GG though, next game, let's go. Well, an absolutely epic defense for his opponent there. I do like the idea of keeping the aggression up 2 games in a row, but maybe left that game a bit too early, trying to break the push. But he'd done so much counter damage that beating the army on the front and doing a giant counterattack to trade on SCVs did not make sense on a mathematical level. If you think about it, you're behind. Being able to send half your army to kill their economy and beat their push on the front. It was bad decision-making by SERRAL, but bad decision-making in one of the most intense situations ever, which is this absolute goat of Terran. Just being on your doorstep with 4 tanks, 50 Marines, whatever it was, just microing his butt off, stimming in your face. It's hard to make good decisions when Maru's in your face. I'll give it to that. But definitely an opportunity there. If you think about it, guys, whenever you play a backstab style, you're kind of saying, okay, you're going to set up for this one big perfect push. Like imagine as SERRAL, you're defending this base, right? There's this big tank marine push here. The whole idea is I'm going to kill a bunch of your economy, give up this base, move my workers away, and buy time for myself. And then that push is going to take forever to move further forward. And when it's moving, that's when I can engage it. When I'm backstabbing and cutting off the reinforcement, it's the movement of Ling Bane which gives you advantages. And if you're playing that low gas, high mineral Ling Bane backstab style, it's all about backstabbing, creating a lot of movement, getting the Terran to really commit to a push, and then just giving up ground and expanding elsewhere. It's really, you want to play like a very elusive kind of whack-a-mole Zerg. I think Raynor and Dark are probably the best in the world at just swapping into that mode. And I do think it truly comes down to the fact that they have a special mentality where when they're losing, they actually play better. I don't think SERRAL plays better when he's losing. He's I don't know if I agree with that, actually. As I say that, I'm like, 2018 begs to differ. I think he's very good at like just defending front on, surviving very technically. But if he was going to do that in that game, then he should have set up a surround. He shouldn't have been doing the backstab, right? Doing the backstab was a different style to what SERRAL excels at, right? He's better. If he sent a few Zerglings in the third and then just did a surround in the front, it makes sense. But I do feel sometimes that SERRAL stiffens up in his play when he's losing. When things aren't going his way, when his opponents are catching him off guard with a gamble or he makes a mistake, it seems a little bit more that he gets angry at himself. Whereas I feel Raynor and Dark are much less perfect players in their play. They're not as perfect, but they're very intuitive. And somehow their mindset allows them to go, oh, this game's not going well. Cool. It's almost like they smile every time they're in trouble. Like I feel like they're just friends with deep water, you know? You put them in the fire and they're like, cool, I'm not meant to win from here. Let's see what I can do. And they're so quick to gamble. They're so quick to just unashamedly take crazy risks. Whereas SERRAL, I feel like, is just a little bit more mental resistance. And this is for most players. It's not just SERRAL, it's most players. Raynor and Dark truly are the exception. But you know, there's a bit of resistance about going away from what normally works. And the thing is, you need to go away from what normally works very quickly. You need to drop it and go in a completely different direction when you're way behind. You need to completely switch gears, and you also need to not get affected when things don't go your way, because you're already in a really bad position. Things are meant to go your way. I think Raynor and Dark see it as like a free attempt to just make something impossible happen, to do some magic. For them, they see it as this hilarious challenge. Whereas SERRAL, I don't think handles his losses necessarily quite as smoothly as those guys. And that's also why he's more dominant, right? When SERRAL's on, he has much more dominant streaks than Dark and Raynor. And even Rogue, right? Those guys will go from the best championship where they look like gods, and you're like, wow, why don't we say why do people talk about SERRAL more than Rogue or Raynor or Dark? It's like, it's because Raynor, Rogue, Dark, pretty much everyone but SERRAL, they will have an amazing performance and they'll bomb out of the next tournament, right? It happens with pretty much every other player, but SERRAL, he has that kind of obsessive perfection. He's so consistent. Once again, exact same build order for Maru. Is Maru just going to keep doing the exact same build order? I mean, obviously it was proxy barracks last time, but it was the same follow-up. Okay, so this seems to be the set piece that he enjoys, though, is I'm going to go Raven every game. Like, Raven seems to be what he's decided. This is integral because I am done wasting scans to clear creep. It's costing me too much. It's really bad. This time around, no Roach Warren for SERRAL. So this is the first chance that Maru gets to show it in a quote-unquote normal game. It's Waterfall. This is a really small map. Amazing for Terran to split the map. Amazing for those Terran pushes in some like areas, like on the edges in these corridors. But the middle of the map has big, wide open areas where you can get swarmed. So I would not mind Maru from the very beginning playing the most conservative style of Zerg versus Terran. I'm talking never leave this high ground with your tanks. Set up sensor towers. Play that slow, methodical late game that you're known for. If Maru does that, man, SERRAL's going to have a real contest on his hands. Now, I like it. Double eBay, extra barracks going down. He's swapping into Bio tank right now. But double Evo chamber at very similar timings for SERRAL. SERRAL's up healthily in the workers, already at 58 workers, starting to add his gas geysers and that sort of stuff in the near future, no doubt. For now, just on 2 gases is SERRAL. Let me see a quick Bane speed into those 1-1 upgrades, no doubt. The Queen's coming forward. Oh, he drags the Widowmine onto the enemy units, but even though it hits the Medevac, doesn't hit too many of the other ones. Ooh, the Medevac should have boosted away, though. A little sloppy on the micro there from Maru. That being said, doesn't really lose any of the other units. A bunch of the Zerglings do go down. You can see in the units lost time, it is still in Maru's favor, but I think he wants it to be a little bit more in his favor. He's going to just click on the hatchery. Oh, okay. I mean, he does cancel it. SERRAL immediately rebuilds it and then has to cancel it again. But kills a couple of the Terran units, uses the auto turrets. I don't think SERRAL's too upset about losing, you know, 150 minerals there for those 2 cancels. It's not the end of the world. Tanks, Marines, 3rd command center on the way. The worker count's starting to worry me right now. It feels like Maru's growth with this 3rd command center, he hasn't created quite as much movement as he would have liked. As much damage, as many openings. He's getting a few of these creep tumors, so at least he's not having to use scans on this, but those Queens hot on his tail. He's going to have to go back and repair that Raven. 1-1 upgrades are on the way. 50 seconds and 20 seconds done for SERRAL, whereas it's 50 seconds and 50 seconds for Maru. So Maru's a little tighter on the upgrades. SERRAL's going for the 4th base on the left and the 5th base on the right. So actually 5th base on the left, 4th on the right. So he's actually kind of expanding both sides at similar timings, and he's not building macro hatcheries. This is my favorite way to do it. He's going to get way ahead if he gets away with this, because he can just basically say, hey, I've skipped on the macro hatcheries. The moment I win a fight, I drone up 5 bases. I'm already on 71 workers, which is SERRAL's favorite worker count. I've talked to him about this in the past, and he literally wouldn't admit it. I was like, you play with less workers than all the other Zergs. If they've got the map control, they'll go 85, 90 workers. You sit on 70 until you win a fight. And he's like, no, I play as greedy as the others. I remember this like years ago. I was like, you definitely don't, SERRAL. You always try to set up to crush the push, and only then do you get greedy. And he wouldn't, I don't know if he was being a bit coy, wasn't admitting to his strategy or what, but this is how he likes to play ZvT. He doesn't want to give you a chance. And Maru's going to commit to a big push. SERRAL's been massing units for a while. He's added a couple of workers, but not too many. He's got 20 Banes, 40 Zerglings. It's a very scary army. Carapace, not quite ready though. That could hurt SERRAL, but look at this. SERRAL setting up a surround. Or is it a run by? He's going to go for a run by. There is 1 tank, but no Marines at home. Where are the Marines? Where are the Marines? Maru not watching! Oh, a little bit of a slow response. Loses a few SCVs there. Okay, a few Marines are starting to come out now. In comes the push for Maru though. Okay, let's look at this surround, guys. We've got a big Ling Bane army setting up on both sides. He's even coming in below the mineral line, so he's got the pre-spread. The Queen's coming in. The Ling Bane coming in from both sides. Oh, huge surround for SERRAL. Immediately gets on top of the tanks. Forces the pickups, takes out all the auto turrets. The Raven and a tank, and a few of these units do get out of there. Actually, it's a Hellbat, not a tank. So I was like, how did he get a tank out of there? 10 Marines and a Hellbat escape, but the 3rd is getting ransacked. Get out of there, Maru. He's going to lose at least a couple of depots, no doubt. And trying to jump on top of him is SERRAL. SERRAL, very decisive. I don't think Maru expected him to chase this far. He's got another tank in the back. He needs to repair that siege tank. I think that was an okay fight for Maru there. Loses a few depots, but he can repair the tanks and keep it going. 2-2 upgrades are on the way for Maru. He's got his 3 bases up. The problem that Maru has is he doesn't have a 2nd factory or a 4th command center. He's basically on the setup for a 3-base all-in, but he's already lost a few of his siege tanks. He's already lost a lot of Marines, and these trades are going to be amazing because in the midst of that, SERRAL adds another 5 or 6 workers. He's like, hey, look at my 5th base. It's got 13 workers on minerals. My 4th has 15. His mineral income is out of this world. Now, you might look at the minerals and say, well, it's even, pig. Nah, there's 5 mules on the map right now. Those are going to disappear, and it's going to go back to what Maru's real income is, which is going to be closer to 2,500 minerals, maybe 2,000, as his main is mining out now. So keep in mind, we'll check that income again in a little while. Hive's on the way, so there will be a Lurker or Broodlord. Or actually, he's going to go Ultras, as there's no Hydra Den just yet. We're going to see an Ultra transition here for SERRAL. He's defending on the left with the Lingbane. Maru on the right. Maru's got to play late game. There's no other choice here. He's got 4th command center, 2nd factory, 3 more barracks. Maru is going to try and force this to late game, but SERRAL is going there from way ahead. And this is one of Maru's big issues in ZvT. Against Raynor, I'd still favor him in this situation because his late game is so far ahead of Raynor's. Against SERRAL, though, the reason why we don't see him win that many late games is when he gets to late game, he's just starting his ghosts, and 1,000 Banelings are ruining his day. Now, we do see a Hydra Den now, so SERRAL's doing the famous modern Lurker transition. So, for those of you who are wondering, the modern Lurker transition is where you just start the Hive, and then you forget to start your Hydra Den until about a minute late. So you're going to be about a minute late on the Lurker transition. He can at least make Vipers, which will be effective. Nice cancel on the hatch there for Maru. Uncharacteristic to see SERRAL dilly-dallying on the tech, though. I really feel like this is a very late Lurker transition. He's going Hydra and Viper. He's avoiding Lurkers for now. Okay, I guess he figures, hey, if you're already on tanks, you're not really pressuring me with Widow Mines, I'll just play a more mobile army. 140 Zerglings on the map. Vipers, Adrenal 2-2, Lingbane, Maru. Medivacs on the left side are pinned. The Lingbane runs in there. Oof. I don't think that was a good fight. Let's bring up that battle report, shall we? Looks like he got 10 Marines, so maybe got a decent Baneling hit, but does lose a lot of Zerglings, so still a very positive trade for Maru. Ghost Academy's on the way. Concussive Shells, +2 vehicle weapons. Maru does need to find that money to start 3-3. In this sort of game, sometimes players forget. They think they've already started it, but it does get delayed a fair amount. 2nd factory is building tanks, so it's double tank production. One of the big weaknesses is right now his only counter to mass Ling is Marines. He's got 41 Marines. It's decent, but the tanks themselves can be very vulnerable if they don't have wall-offs in front of them. These changelings for SERRAL also scouting really well. And this is where the 3rd factory with the reactor building Hellbats with +3 vehicle weapons and Blue Flame. That's where Maru really becomes the god of late game, because then the Zerglings don't have the ability to jump on his tanks anymore. Up until that point, it's still scary. SERRAL, he's got the Hydra upgrades on the way. Still doesn't have a Lurker Den, Ultra Cavern, or a Spire. He's just playing a couple of Hydras. Will be added in at some point for anti-air, no doubt. I think in the meantime, I wouldn't be surprised to see Parasitic Bomb. Where are the Vipers? Vipers only now gathering energy? Oh, did he kill the Medivacs on the left side of the map? Oh, he killed the Medivacs with the Parasitic. I was like, why were they low on energy? He got the 3 Medivacs that were on the left, because he surrounded it with spores and he dropped parasitic bombs. I'm sorry to miss that, guys. Bad observing by me. A little hard to catch these purple dots on the mini-maps. So that was, like I said in the battle report, it showed 20 Marines and 3 Medivacs. I was like, how has he not got energy on the Vipers yet? They could go do that to the bottom right as well. Maru's got to be careful throwing too many Marines like that. He's got that 3rd factory that will be the Hellbat producing structure in a little bit. Oh, here we go. SERRAL's going to try and attack. Oh, that planetary's looking mighty exposed. Those ghosts run up the front. Where's the rest of the army? This might be the situation where you want to F2. The SCVs, a bunch of them go down. The planetary will get busted. It's a lot of Banelings going down. SERRAL didn't kill that command center, but he did get 1 or 2 other that was building. Maru cancels a hatchery on the bottom right, so not too bad for him. Let's check the battle report, of course. SERRAL did manage to kill about 3,000 resources. He lost about 6,500. So still less than 2-to-1 cost efficiency. I mean, that's great cost efficiency for Maru. The problem is that Maru loses his 4th base, and he's still forgotten to rebuild this command center. And he doesn't have many extra command centers. So I'd like to see him building command centers here as well. Safer positions. Like, this is kind of exposed, could go down. But now at least it's an orbital, it's finished. The problem you run into as a Terran is that these command centers take so long to build. You can invest so much money and time. Gets killed just before it finishes, and you got to start it from scratch. And if that just keeps getting reset, it's very tough. Now, Blue Flame, +2 vehicle weapons, Hellbats, 3-3 upgrades, sensor towers. Maru's going to show his endgame here. He will, it looks like he'll get there. Oh, he doesn't pick up the Marauders. He wanted the Banelings to blow up on that, but SERRAL only sets off a few Banelings, lets his Zerglings clean it up. And +2 Rangers on the way. Doesn't have +3 melee just yet. SERRAL looks like he's giving Maru too much time, but I've cast games of SERRAL doing this in the past, where it looks like, you're like, dude, you're letting Maru get to late game, you gotta go. And he waits, and he waits, and he sets up, and you're like, you're not getting any better tech, what are you doing? And then he'll just attack into what looks like a well-defended position, but notice he's constantly spamming changelings in. So he keeps dropping changelings from his overseers, sending them in, and whenever he sees a weak point, he'll think about striking. He's also adding a Spire. Expect Pathogen Glands in the near future as well. Pathogen Glands will give him the ability to go Broodlord Infester. Parasitic Bomb does go off. And, of course, just quickly gathering more energy. I mean, that's free damage, the Parasitic Bomb. Oh, my God, he should have unloaded that. Oh, my God, he actually mass repaired it. MARU! Oh, you're so sick. Who boosts a medevac from there to here, pulls SDVs and mass repairs it so the Parasitic Bomb can't kill it? What a Chad. That was a sick move. Oh, MARU's a sick puppy, man. Pathogen Glands and Burrow, yeah, as we talked about, he's going to... Look, if it's a standoff, you have to go Infesta Broodlord because that's the only composition that's going to be cost-efficient in direct fights. Lingbane Hydra is a breakthrough composition. It's where you're basically looking to rush through fast enough that you'll kill them in the long term. Now, Nicer Ducks manages to kill a few Marauders, one medevac, one of them does boost out of there. MARU's going to try and take this left side. That right side doesn't have a planetary here, so this actually could get busted. It's also not a full wall. Just like 80 Zerglings could run in there and ransack that whole base. Definitely an issue. Or Vipers running up and abducting the tanks could cause trouble, but he's got sensor towers, so he'll be able to respond if need be. Only 6 ghosts. Now that's different. Now you might be like, why is he not building ghosts? There's a copy pasta out there. People are always spamming it. Oh, Terran's so hard. You need a control group for your ghosts to counter this and that. And you're basically making out ghosts counter everything. But ghosts don't counter Lingbane Hydra that well. Auto turrets going down. The turrets, the tanks, the Marines and the ghosts need to get back behind the tank line. Abducts come in. But you're not going to be able to break that whole tank line. Surely not. There's too many tanks, right? But does clear out a bunch of the tanks. SERRAL denying this territory. And the gas count's actually very low right now for MARU. He needs to get this base up and get like a planetary in front of it. These tanks are on this corner though are so hard to get on. When he goes around the corner, that's tough. That last battle, you can see 6,000 lost for SERRAL, 3,000 for his opponent. So 2-to-1 cost inefficiency, man. This feels good for MARU in the long term. 10 minutes from now, these fights are winning fights. Right now, though, they're good fights for SERRAL in terms of the tempo because he's able to remax. MARU doesn't have the same level of setup. He doesn't have that many Marines. And where are their Hellbats? He's only got 1 Hellbat on the map right now. That's a big problem. The Lingbane is cascading in. SCVs are main-harding into the battle. Marines and Ghosts. Blinding Cloud on the tank. A double shot. Oh my god, this was a good trade for SERRAL. SERRAL gets a lot of the units. So many SCVs on the left side went down as well. And that fight there, you see, because it's the tempo we were talking about, MARU may have killed 12,000 resources, but that time, SERRAL got 7,500 resources. These are closer trades, but more importantly, the bank. SERRAL's getting out of bank. He's running out of bank. He has no more bases he can take unless he tries to take this forward base. I guess he can transfer workers here for a little bit, but he's only got 1 more push like that. The thing is, I think that MARU doesn't have the same pieces. Look at this. He's remaxed. He's ready to go. MARU needs this to be walled off completely. He needs Hellbats. He needs to be spread. He's way too clumped up right now. Those SCVs need to get out of there. MARU, you need to be pre-spread. You can't be running back like that. He's trying to stutter step. I don't think that's the right micro here, but I think he's realizing that he's so outnumbered. He needs to get behind the planetary. He's trying to spread, but the Banelings! Too many Banelings! And SERRAL getting on top. Oh, the minerals, the SCVs. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Oh no, man! It's game over, man! Oh my lord, that was a slaughter. Those SCVs, man, realizing that they indeed were working for, was it like Wayman Corps or whatever? They just, yeah. Damn. That was the first even trade for SERRAL. Killing 25 SCVs, a ton of tanks and Marines, things getting rough. And look, SERRAL's out of bank. SERRAL's not able to remax. This is, a lot of people are like, this is so unfair, he just A moves. But really, it's so much about being careful. As MARU, if he turtles there is a choice to take that base a little slower. It's a hard choice to make because you don't know if SERRAL's going Broodlords, in which case you really need this expansion. But he now sees as well as a hatchery down on the bottom right. And because he's lost too many units now, I don't know if he's going to be able to ever take this base. SERRAL is maxed. SERRAL's bank is gone. His bases are starting to mine out. Does it matter? No. He's still got good income for the next few minutes in this game. It's about 25-30 minutes where he'll be almost completely dry. Until then, the Vipers are coming in, the Lings, the Banes, the Hydras. And Abduct does take one of those tanks to its death. A Blinding Cloud on another tank, as well as a bunch of the bio units. There's not enough Hellbats spread in to deal with the Zerglings. I think Widow Mines would be amazing at dealing with the Banelings as well. But in general, just outnumbered, outgunned, and SERRAL's ability to use the Zerg production to just hammer over the top. Try to do a Ling run by on the natural. Blue Flame Hellbats with +3 are one-shotting Zerglings at this point. And he's actually built a lot of ghosts, but definitely ghosts are not the priority right now. It should be tanks, marines, and marauders. And I actually think the marine count and the hellbat count might be the most important. Maybe it's the marauder hellbat, actually. I'm not sure. It's always hard to say. Because the thing is, what's going to kill the banelings before they get on top of you? Well, the tanks, right? So I guess tanks take priority, but he just doesn't have enough money for everything. He's going to deny this base of SERRAL. And he's just going to say, okay, I'll just abandon this base. Whenever you come in, I'll just lift and run. Oh, quick evac there from MARU. But he's pushing on that right side. Trying to deny the rich gas base. I mean, that would be a great pickoff, but he's a bit too clumped. He's a bit too clumped on creep. MARU, watch out! Here he comes. Great EMP. Shuts down both of those Vipers. Amazing positioning, but one Blinding Cloud did land on one of the tanks, and the Ghosts trying to pull back. There's a Planetary behind. The Planetary and the tanks here getting some decent trades. The Lings will take out one more tank. I love that tank tucked in behind the depot. Sick trades for MARU, but the sick trades only come in now after things have already gone off the rails. And SERRAL, I mean, he could do a big run by to the natural, I think would be the game winner here. He's just going to roll over the front. Not my favorite attack here. Gets a few marauders and a tank, and that's not much. This is SERRAL. SERRAL? That was a really bad fight. I know he wants to defend this base, but he ends up just throwing away a ton of units. Banelings on their own are not very effective. You need them to push back the bio and the Hellbats while the Ling Hydra does the damage. SERRAL just got very wasteful in that last battle. As you can see, 2,500 resources for not even 800. And the tank on the natural is going to get finally taken out. Here's the tank on the high ground that's trying to come forward as well. 58 army supply for MARU. He's got the mules. Remember that SERRAL's income should be waning, but it's still 2,800 minerals a minute. The Hellbat there is like, oh, come on, man. Still 3 Zerglings that burrowed. They can get up out of the ground later. The Infestors are coming in, and there's no money for turrets. Oh, big fungal on the Ghost is going to be disgusting. The Ghost or the Bio getting caught by fungal as the Ling Bane jumps on top could be massive. He does actually have Neural, so we could even steal a couple of tanks. Lings find the mineral line, and look at that. It's not even landed in the right position. Hydra's making it burn. The Lings are going to get great damage. If he can get on that tank, that would be huge. He doesn't quite find his way around there. On the left side, another push coming forwards. MARU needs to find some magic. He's got a handful of units. There we go. Neural Parasite on one of those tanks. A Blinding Cloud on another one. The Hydras will take out these remaining tanks. The Banelings don't quite connect with the Ghosts. The Ghosts get one snipe on the punish, but the Ghosts need static defense. They need planetaries. They need tanks. They need other units to support them on their own. Walking forward with a pack of cloaked Ghosts like this is a sure sign of desperation. It's like, hey, what do you want in your military? You're like, I'll have 8 James Bonds and 7 medevacs, please. And you're like, yeah, that's not a well-rounded military. Oh, he loses the weak medevac. Ooh, damn, man. I thought MARU was actually doing really well in this game earlier. But just on this left side, getting broken a little too easily. I'm not sure if it was just... I think it was being a bit more pre-spread with his units. A little bit further. Like, just a bit of a bigger pre-spread and maybe a few more buildings. Like, just plocking down a few eBays or something on this left side when he first got broken over there would have been huge. And he was so close to stopping the avalanche. But remember, SERRAL was a little ahead earlier in the game. Oh! SERRAL just neural the Ghost and EMP'd all the other Ghosts! That's a way to tell him to get out of the game. Sorry for my bad observing. We're going to rewind. MARU has to GG, but let's watch that finish one more time. Look at this sneaky little infestor. That's... Guys, some players, they pause on pause or they type get out to their opponent in the chat. SERRAL lets his play do the shit talking for him. And he even EMP'd himself. He not only got all the other Ghosts, he also got that Ghost as well. He EMP'd every single one of the Ghosts. Oh, delicious. Missed this one earlier in the game. MARU going up 3-1, but this is what happened. Remember, these medevacs were trapped there, and then the Vipers come out here at about 11 minutes, and they gather energy. The medevacs keep trying to drop. They just can't find their way in. And there's Spore, Queen, Queen, Spore, Queen. And then the Vipers are like, hey, buddy, we're gathering energy. Oh, so this is actually very nice, yeah. I think MARU should have just tried to boost out the top. There was only like 1 Spore and 1 Queen there. If he sent the healthy medevacs in front, he might have been able to get out. But yeah, he tries to boost there and then... Hello, Mr. Oh, he actually just abducts. Oh, that's another way of doing it. So he abducts them in rather than parasitic bombing. Yeah, that works. That medevac's on 26 hit points. 1 more abduct. Easy kill. Very nice moves by SERRAL. Gets the 3-1. He needs only 1 more game to win it. All right. This could be the last game here. A very impressive win on a rather small map, Waterfall, a map where the Zerg does feel the pressure of the map simply in the fact that those resources do run out, but SERRAL gets the win. And you can see once again, very cautious about the proxy barracks. He's checking both sides for that. He's checking all the nearby locations. Now, obviously, he could still just proxy barracks back here or over here, could MARU, but it wouldn't be as impactful. Now, we can see MARU's changing it up a little bit. He's going command center first this time. I don't think this is the map where you'd be going 3 racks afterwards. I expect a gas and then another gas to go down in just a moment. Yeah, he's going to rally this SCV over there. Actually, he doesn't. I guess you don't quite have the money just yet. Interesting. Should be seeing a second gas very soon. No scout for MARU. Oh no, he's going second barracks. He might play 3 racks here. I was not expecting this on such a big map. Data C is a very long map, and it's the winding. That's the real problem. It's the fact that not only is you got to go around this whole S shape in the middle. That's what takes so long. It's these rocks. Obviously, they can be opened up later in the game, but for now, crab beetle. One of my favorite critters, the crab beetles. They do look pretty awesome. Second gas is up as well. Now, the fact that the second gas is up this early makes me wonder, maybe there's no third barracks. Maybe it's a 2 barracks play, so it's a kind of in-between one into like, it could be 2-1-1, right? Quick factory and starport afterwards. Meanwhile, SERRAL only building 2 Zerglings. I like this. SERRAL's like, hey, dude, you're never playing Reaper? I don't need to build Zerglings. I can just take a quicker third, build an extra drone. This is a beautiful opening for SERRAL, and he might even delay link speed. Since MARU hasn't really been in his face with any early Hellion aggression, SERRAL, I think, is realizing that he can potentially cut corners. He still goes link speed, creep tumor before third queen, fair enough. Tech lab and reactor are up. Do we go stim? Okay, stim before third barracks or factory. And that makes me wonder if he's considering a third command center. Can the Zergling get in? Oh, he's going to get a full scout. The SCV of MARU is like, get out of here. Oh, SERRAL with a big scout here. And I think MARU's thinking about a third CC, guys. Oh, look at this Zergling. See, you don't want to be a... Doesn't see a third barracks. He wouldn't be sure, though. He's like, because there could be one there. Here's, of course, that third command center into factory that we talked about. So that's a pretty quick third command center. This is a very economic build for MARU. SERRAL, though, has looked fantastic in just about every phase of the game, and it feels like he has a good read on what MARU's doing. I think for MARU, the real struggles in this matchup are just handling the absolutely impeccable early games of SERRAL and Raynor. I really feel like these guys, they put the pace on him in the early game, and they consistently get ahead against him. Now, Raynor gets further ahead than SERRAL almost every time he plays MARU, but he has big finishing problems. SERRAL, we've seen in these games, he doesn't have a problem finishing the map, man. He'll just pound over the top. Now, also, SERRAL's very comfortable against mech. He's very good against mech. It's almost a specialty of his, and that's why, unfortunately, MARU almost never does it. The last time we saw it, versus SERRAL, group stage, IEM Katowice, absolutely crushed SERRAL on hardware. Not crushed. Let's be honest. That's a little bit of hyperbole there. He beat him in the late game with his mech into ghost build that he was very good at the time. And then every time he played SERRAL in the rest of that tournament, he only played bio. Didn't play mech again. It was absolutely heartbreaking for all the mech fans out there. We're like, do the thing that beat him again. And MARU was like, nah. And we're like, please. And he's like, dude, it's not going to work twice. Like, I did it once, and then we've never seen him try it against SERRAL ever since then. And I'm like, aw. It's heartbreaking for me because, like, I just want to know what happens. Like, I want to pay these guys a few $1,000s. Like, go play 20 maps of you trying to play Mech Ghost, MARU, SERRAL playing whatever he wants to try and beat that. I want to see what happens there. Now, that's 16 Marines. The 2 medevacs will boost across to join up with it. Already Lings and Banes are on the way. 51 drones are out. Second gas is up as well. He'll be able to go Bane speed, but his lair only just started. So I think we'll see double Evo chamber in a moment. The third gas guys is on the way there for SERRAL. Marines joining up in the middle. A couple Marines will take out the Overlord. Overlord flies in, and he does know it's tank production, which of course means there could be a more serious push to follow up. Siege tanks are kind of the norm on this map. We haven't really seen any Widowmine play versus SERRAL, and that's interesting that MARU's not even thinking about that. That's a lot of queens. There's 11 queens on this map. 8 of them on defense duty at the front. Creep is spreading in every single path. Oh, this seabed is getting absolutely infested. Now, where's the Evo chamber, SERRAL? SERRAL? Is fourth base is on the way. Finally building 2 Evos. 540. It's not the worst, but it is on the later end. Upgrade's already 20 seconds underway here for MARU. Oh, good micro on the Banes there. And the Queen's coming in as well, making that hard. MARU has to pull back. I like the way SERRAL chases it. He says, hey, you just have to put... If you want to find somewhere safe to unload, you need to put a few more actions into this. A bit more attention. You can't just unload and then come straight back in. A big mistake Zergs make is they make a drop pickup and they just sit there. The drop unloads here and they stim back in and kill all the tumors again. But SERRAL, much more aware of that danger. Unfortunately, does stumble into these Marines with what was planning to be a Baneling run by. He was going to send those here, morph Banelings, and roll them into that base. But it does get stopped. 1-1 upgrades are on the way now for SERRAL. So he's behind about 45 seconds. It's not the end of the world. His fourth base is almost up right now. Okay, so SERRAL's got the 1-1 upgrades on the way. His creep spread on the bottom side. Oh, that's looking good. He does have to spread it across here as well, though. He's got a bit of a gap in the middle where those Marines were pressuring earlier. Hydra Den's on the way, so he wants to get a little bit of ranged units, which can, of course, shoot down the medevacs as well. On the left side, a big Marine tank push is coming. SERRAL kind of posturing, but doesn't get much done. He really should be putting some tumors here as well. Yeah, okay. He's going to respread. SERRAL on 70 workers. MARU on 63. MARU keeps trying to do these Marine tank pushes, but I feel like SERRAL, his style hard counters Marine tank pushes because he stops at such a low worker count compared to Rain or Solar. These guys would be at 85. He's at 70. That means he has way more units. But he doesn't have speed yet on the Banes, so he's not willing to set up the push. Now, this is... Okay, MARU gets an amazing tank position. So I think it should be a good trade for MARU no matter what. This is always so hard for Zerg players to break. He really needs the tank to be shooting. Otherwise, the Queens can take okay trades versus those Marines. They can kind of wear them down. Notice how SERRAL even tried to focus fire a Marine there, but Queens are starting to fall. Oh, I don't know about this trade for SERRAL. He's going to go for it. Oh! Massling Bane going on in. The tanks try to focus the Banelings down, but the Lings get on top. The Banelings close the distance. He's going to try and redrop just out of vision over there while counterattacking on the right side. He's probably assuming that SERRAL's tried to take this hatchery, because that's what a lot of Zergs do when the Terran takes that position, but he sees no hatchery there. He realizes SERRAL was always confident that he was going to be able to defend that push. MARU's going to pick up and start working the drop angle into the main. One Spore Crawler does await him. Marines on the top side coming in. MARU starting to find some great trades and some good damage, some good openings, but oh, a little slow on the pickup. Does lose a handful of those Marines. These Marines here as well. Remember, this one's played on LAN. MARU fanboys, you don't have lag as an excuse this time around. I know somebody watching this literally just had to backspace a message they already had halftime. No, it's just not fair because lag. I'm going to stop making fun of you guys now. I love MARU as well, but a bit uncharacteristic. He lost, I think it was about 8 Marines. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't both full medevacs worth of Marines. 4th Command Center moves down over here as well. We've got the 2-2 upgrades, Drilling Claws on the way. 3 more barracks on the way. No concussive shells just yet, but the upgrade gap is closed. Only up ahead about 10 seconds now is MARU. He's getting ready for the later stage. So I like that he's adding the Widow Mines because remember when the massive Lingbane Hydra comes in, Widow Mines really can ruin the Zerg's day in those scenarios. It has the most extreme firepower in splash damage out of anything the Terran has. Now, is it reliable? No. But if you set up enough Widow Mines across enough areas with enough supporting units, then it becomes very hard for the Zerg to avoid those shots. So I think Widow Mines mixed in with the tanks is awesome. Obviously, as it becomes almost pure Zergling at some points, mixing the Hellbats in with +3 is great, but Widow Mines is going to stop Banelings as well as Zerglings very effectively. Now, good catch here by SERRAL. Once again, slow pickup by MARU. He had the Watchtower as well, but he was distracted watching this north side. MARU has to make sure he's on his A-game. He F2s this medevac back, accidentally boosts that home, and then immediately sends it back to the front. Here we go, Widowmine drop moving across the map as well, but SERRAL's winning these small trades. He's bought himself enough room to go to 88 workers and a hive. I'd like to see that Lurker Den go down soon as well, just to make sure he doesn't delay that too long. I do think Lurkers versus Widowmines are a no-brainer. They outrange them massively. They do really well. Oh, MARU, once again. Oh, and there's a Spore. Okay, wait. Gets 1, 2, 3. Can he get all 4? Widowmines do get out. Oh, ho, 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 ho. SERRAL drops his trousers a little bit there, taking some big booms. Oh, that one did decide to friendly fire. MARU, he's going to nickname that Trader McAssface. That Widowmine did a lot of damage to his own units there. But those last snipes, very good for MARU. You can see they're getting awesome value and denying the top left. And he's got a great setup at home. That's right. That's a 3rd factory on the way. He's going to get a 2nd factory at the tech lab. Planetary there. orbital there. I wouldn't mind him reinforcing this wall off, though, on this north side. Like, a few more buildings. As this game goes on, if Serral's trying to smash him with Hydraling Bane again, then that will be necessary. Hives on the way, +1 range as well. Widowmine drop comes in one more time. Ooh. Okay, not too bad there. He takes a little bit of damage. These are pretty low cost investment for MARU, so he should probably just keep working those angles over and over again, except get some on the top of the map. This base and this base, very exposed right now. SERRAL, though, look at his map vision. Good creep spread still. If he could respread it on the north, get that tumor moving, yep, that would be fantastic. He's got it very good on the bottom. If he can respread in the middle as well, that'd be great. There's a very wide front that you have to cover on this map, and your corner bases are going to be very exposed. Ghosts are now on the way. Lurker Den is being made for SERRAL only after his hive is finished, so once again, a little critical of the timing on that. He also hasn't made Vipers this game. And I guess that makes sense because, you know, there isn't a lot of siege tanks. There's not a lot of units for them to take out. Parasitic Bomb is decent, but it's not amazing. And 16 Zerglings go down. SERRAL's like, I haven't had to play against Widowmine all series, man. Oh my god, another great Widowmine shot. And that's it. This is the power of showing different units to your opponent, giving them different problems to deal with. MARU mixing things up here, and he's getting some great trades. Look at that. Loses a few Marauders, but he lures him into the tank fire. He says, come and chase me into that, boy. SERRAL says, no thank you. Pulls back 2 Vipers on the way. He's realizing, oh, you do actually have quite a few tanks on the defense. I'll need those Abducts and Blinding Clouds. He's still got the good map control, does SERRAL. He's got +3 Carapace on the way. I'd like to see those Lurker upgrades starting up at some point. But for now, Lingbane, Hydra, mobility seems to be the key. SERRAL's got an Overlord there. I'd like to see some Overlords on the bottom as well. His creep spread still not moving as quickly as I'd like it. You know? Yeah, he's starting to spread it a little more, but definitely that's something that can make things oppressive for MARU. MARU's going to move out to a 5th. This is where things get dangerous. This is where MARU lost the last game. So if he goes for just a planetary here... Oh, he's going to go planetary there, right? Yeah, that's going to be a planet. Okay, I like that. He should not be exposing himself. Even here, he's too clumped. These guys should be spread all around so that when SERRAL comes, his units have to split in every direction. See, this guy's actually trapped. That's a very small choke point to retreat. So MARU should have these units spread around the planetary. Otherwise, he could get trapped there. You see how his units go into a funnel? He's got to be really wary that that tank positioning is trapping his units. Yeah, he moves that tank. Good awareness by MARU to make sure that doesn't happen. Nidus Worm is on the way for SERRAL. He's also got those Lurker upgrades queued on up. +2 ranges now on the way to improve those Hydras and those Lurkers. SERRAL's thinking about smashing the top side. There's only 2 tanks and 1 Widow Mine there. MARU was repairing those Widow Mines. And he does unburrow and then quickly reburrow it, but it's already fired. Uh-oh, Bio out in the open. Bio Ghost out in the open. Uh-oh. Oh no, he's a bit clumped on the right side. He's got more tanks and a planetary to fall back on though. Oh, but the left side is being broken. Even though he wins on the right, these Lings could get some good value. Tank on the high ground in reserve there. It's up to 10 kills. Man, quite a few SCVs go down. So nonetheless, it's not a terrible trade for SERRAL. Remember, SERRAL has momentum. So even there, look at that, actually surprisingly close in that trade. He lost 74 Zerglings, 23 Banelings, but he kills a bunch of tanks, Hellbats, Marauders, Marines. This is why a planetary on this right side is pretty much a necessity. So I like that this command center is moving over, but that sensor tower is blocking it from landing right now. So MARU, if he can really cement the position, that'll be good. But planetary, another planetary going up here would be big. Oh, it's not blocked, actually. That'd be great. So he's blocking. Oh, the Hellbat with Blue Flame in the choke. What a chat. It does get friendly fired by the tanks, but I love that. A single tiny gap with 1 Hellbat in it. Oh, MARU. The details of his SimCity, dude. A lot of times people look at this, they're like, oh, the Zerg just A moves. It's so unfair. But the thing is, man, the Terran does have the luxury of just having insane efficiency over the long term. There's another way you can look at this and say, all MARU needs to do is survive. And he will win the end game usually, right? Now, I don't believe that's always the case. I think, oh, here we go. Big EMPs! The Vipers don't get anything off, but he's got enough Banelings to clear the planetary and the whole worker line. Enough Lings to get on top of the tanks. The Ghosts and the backup planetary doing what they can. These are not cheap trades for SERRAL, but I think he got more than enough value. He got 3 Ghosts, 3 tanks. He got a bunch of Marauders, SCVs, a planetary, and he mostly loses Zerglings. 40 Banelings did go down. That is, of course, a total of 6,800 resources lost by SERRAL, and MARU lost about 5.5. So, man, these trades are way closer than the previous game. That's not the units lost tab that MARU wants. MARU does have way more orbitals, though. He's got 7 orbitals. So I would argue that this is the Iron Bank that he's hit. 7, 8 orbitals is usually where I'd call it that. He's got the 8th one morphing right now. The Iron Bank is where you have so many mules. You have so many scans that you can't really be broken. Even if you lose 30, 40 SCVs, Maru's going to be able to keep dropping those mules and keep his income very high. Got plus 3/3 coming in for the bio almost finished. Plus 3 vehicle weapons, building armor. He doesn't have high sec auto tracking. That will give +1 range to planetaries and turrets, which is big. He also should really repair this planetary. Oh, EMPs. One of the Vipers still has an abduct, but here we go. The Ghost's microing backwards. Uh-oh. Oh, my lord. It's a lot of Link Bane Hydra, man. But the Ghosts are going to try and snipe the Hydras. Good snipes. The planetaries get so much damage. That planetary has 30 kills. A bunch of the Overseers go down. Ooh. That one seemed like it was a much better trade for Maru. You can see now 19,000 resources lost for him versus 25,000. That individual trade, SERRAL only killed 3,000 and he lost 6,500 or 5,500. So yeah, definitely getting more of the sort of trades that Maru needs. I wouldn't mind a few more Widow Mines mixed in though. I do think that's missing. Imagine just a couple Widow Mines spread out on this right side. He's got a good army nonetheless. I like that there's a few Hellbats spread through. And I like that he's building more of them as well. How many tanks have we got left, though? He's got to rebuild the tanks. He's only got 3 tanks here. And he's trying to rebuild them, but Maru is still not max. SERRAL's still got an insane bank on 93 workers. He's just going shove, 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 shove. He's got some abducts ready. And here we go. In come the Vipers and the Unity. Abducts one of the Liberators. The Ling Bane Hydra Lurker running on forward. But great EMP one more time for Maru. That planetary still hasn't been repaired. But it is massacring the Banelings. My god. Maru, though, oh, he loses the mineral line. Okay, some of the SCVs and mules go down. Remember, this is not a planetary. Oh my god, Maru hanging on for dear life right now. SERRAL gets a decent trade there. Once again, way too close to even for that to be comfortable. The SCVs just had so much value on the tail end of that trade. This is a rough situation to be in right now for Maru, because if he keeps trading like this, he needs to keep expanding. He does take out a few lurkers. Not a bad move. Save some of these guys, gets out of there. Infestors are being made. Pathogen glands has been done, so 1 or 2 infestors, if he lands those, could be huge. Whoa! Nidus in the back door! Go to... Oh, okay, we're on Maru's camera. Maru's not watching. Maru doesn't realize we're on Maru's camera. He's not going to realize till he hears the screech. Maru is normally the god of defending Nidus Worm, but he's been so under pressure on this right side. There it is. He hears the scream. The lurkers are in the base. Immediately sends 2 Vikings and 8 ghosts to defend. Wow. Talk about calm under pressure. Actually, about 11 ghosts. You can see the ghost squad's going to defend. Everything else is going to try and hold the front. SERRAL always attacking in multiple areas at once. Here we go, he says. Distraction in the back door. Banelings in your front door. Parasitic bomb in the medevacs. The Banelings rolling over. The planetary. The planetary. No! The planetary that never got repaired earlier. I don't think it did. It gets taken down. SERRAL breaches the right side. He says without those ghosts there, you can't defend. And that's a huge victory. Do the ghosts clean up the lurkers? Yes. They got rid of 3 lurkers, but it doesn't matter because SERRAL just managed to actually take a massively positive trade. He kills 8,000 resources, only loses about 5,000, bringing it back way closer to even here. And SERRAL is just getting the better end of these trades. He's denied that 5th base. He's dropping another Nidus Worm in the back door. Maru not noticing it again. Oh no! He's so worried about getting hit on the right side. And for the 2nd time in a row, we're going to see, okay, he's changed his rally point. He's got a Marauder and a tank will pop out, but the medevacs, they don't shoot. They just stare at it. Luckily for him, the Nidus Worm is empty. There we go, though. Abducts on the Liberators on the front. Oh, no. This is really bad for Maru. He doesn't have the numbers. Neuroparasite on a ghost. He EMP'd 4 of the other ghosts. SERRAL, you dirty, dirty boy. Using the ghosts against him. He says, why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? And Maru has got to be triggered by that. I thought he was well set up, but this angle on the right, SERRAL's just been using his Vipers so well. You'll notice he often runs forward and then runs back. The Infestor walking into scan range. Come on, buddy. Oh my god, there's cockiness and then there's that. Apparently, Maru doesn't have energy right now for scan. Oh no, he doesn't have energy. That finally gets it, takes out the Infestor before that EMP can go down. The Hellbats at the front get ran over. The tanks, the Marauders, the Ghosts getting run over right now. The Ghosts are trying to start a step back, but the Ling Bane Hydra is too much. And oh my god, yet again, the mineral line gets ransacked down to 28 SCVs. And SERRAL, he just does it with Ling Bane Hydra Viper. Occasionally mixes some lurkers in, but dude, he makes it look so bloody good. No one else kills Maru like this with this army comp. But SERRAL says, where there's a will, there's a way. I just macro like a beast, and I split those units in all the right situations. The Banelings always go for the SCVs, the Planetaries, and the Ghosts. The Lings and the Hydras try to get rid of those tanks and libs, and he absolutely rolls over Maru in a game where MARU was looking pretty good in the early middle stages. So MARU had a much better position than in the previous games, but on Data C, just not able to get it done. GG, well played.